I've been taking a number of bearings and comparing the compass with a map, and in each case I've found I'm just over 2 degrees out. The compass reads 2 degrees more than the map. This is down to grid magnetic angle, the difference between the north on the map and the north of the compass. Now the difference at the moment in UK, in the north, is about 2 degrees and 10 minutes, or 2 1/6 degree. Over a small distance this doesn't make much difference, but over a long distance it will. You need to convert magnetic bearings from the compass to grid bearings for use on the map by adding or subtracting the grid magnetic angle. The grid magnetic angle changes. It changes from place to place, and it changes from time to time. So the grid magnetic angle in Colorado in 1980 would be very different from the grid magnetic angle in London in 2010. You have to add or subtract the grid magnetic angle. There's a simple rule to help us remember what to do. Variation west, compass is best. Variation east, compass is least. So if the grid magnetic angle is to the west of grid north, you will have to take it off when you convert a magnetic bearing to a map bearing. If the grid magnetic angle is to the east, you will have to add the difference when you convert a magnetic bearing to a grid bearing. As an example, if the grid magnetic angle is 5 degrees west, an angle of 90 degrees on the map will be 95 degrees magnetic on the compass. We want to set our compass to go from a point on the map to the church with the tower. We start by placing the centre of the protractor over the start point and pulling out the string or thread to the target. We then read the bearing, which in this case is 310 degrees grid, i.e. it's 310 degrees on the map. Here we can see the compass set at roughly 310 degrees. So we very carefully change it to 312 degrees by moving it 1 division. The divisions on the silver compass are every 2 degrees. Then we move the red into the shed by moving the whole compass so that the red end of the compass needle goes within the shed-shaped north mark. We do this by rotating the whole compass and not the compass rose. Then we get behind the compass, holding it to our chest, making sure it's in the right direction. The red is in the shed. We look up, take a landmark, and off we go. If you're on a road and you're not exactly sure where you are, one way to find out is to find a landmark. Take a bearing to the landmark, add or subtract the GMA, and draw a back bearing. You take a bearing from you to the landmark, correct it for GMA, and add or subtract 180 degrees. This gives you a reciprocal or back bearing. You can draw a line from the landmark to the road, and where the line and the road intersect, that's where you are. This is the whole idea behind biangulation, resection, or using back bearings. How do you know whether to add or subtract 180 degrees? If the angle you have originally is less than 180 degrees, you add 180. If it's more, you subtract 180. Check for this is the answer must be less than 360 degrees. In open country, there may not be a linear feature for you to use. In that case, you biangulate using 2 landmarks and 2 back bearings. For added accuracy, you can use 3 landmarks and triangulate. Your position should be somewhere very accurately in the small triangle where the 3 back bearings meet. We've set a compass and we're all ready to go. However, when we follow the line of sight, we see that there are numerous obstacles in the way, at least 2 sets of trees. We're going to have to change plans. We want to make the route easy, bearing in mind that we may have to travel across this country in poor visibility, so instead of trying to force our way through the trees and the bushes, we're going to use a method called handrailing, which will move in a straight line from one place to another. Our destination will be a linear feature, and it doesn't really matter where we hit that linear feature. The first thing we've got to do is to change our compass bearing in the field. We do this by getting the compass in a position where we can see the direction of travel arrow, the compass rose, the compass needle, and the shed. We point the direction of travel arrow at our intended target, and then we move the compass rose until the shed is underneath the red. The shed moves to the red. To avoid going through the woods, I'm going to go downhill to the edge of the woods and then turn right. I'll follow along the edge of the woods till I come to the gap. Then I'm going to use a compass bearing to continue my journey until I come to the metalled path. I'm now moving along the side of the trees towards the gap, where I'm going to use my compass to plot my course on the ground. I'm now at the gap in the woods. Now I need to get myself pointing in the right direction. I hold my compass in front of my chest and I'm going to revolve until the red compass needle is above the shed. I've set my course. It's going to take me directly to the gap in the trees. If I follow that course, I will cross the metalled path. Once I've hit the metalled path, all I need to do is turn left and follow it along to the junction, which is my target. Well, I've reached the junction, and if I turn round, I can see that I've got at least one set of trees between me and my start point. Yes, it would have been possible to use a compass and go on a bearing, but it was so much easier to handrail. I've used compass bearings to take me to linear features, which I've followed to the target.